Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming's The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 10, Jadis Hidden Secret. I know last night we did the stream. I did tell you guys we were going to do random things tonight, and then upon further review, we just couldn't get through all the topics we wanted to talk about last night, so I decided we're just going to keep moving forward on Tuesday nights for the next week or so and just fully encompass all the Walking Dead topics that are out there. There's so much stuff going on. I think a lot of hidden storylines that we're going to have to dig into it a little bit tonight, and there were some really good conversation spinoffs last night around Jadis and the Junkyard, and I've got several things that I want to touch on tonight. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you so much, all of you guys, for being flexible. And I know there were several people messaged me. They were looking forward to the random things, and they wanted to get into some music topics. We will ramp that back up, but let's be honest. This is the Super Bowl. This is Walking Dead season, so we've really got to discuss it as much as we can, because there's some things that we're going to figure out, and there's some things that we're definitely going to miss. This is not spoiler chat tonight. This is sheer prediction. So just, you know, you're safe, I guess, if you're here. We might talk a little bit about some things that are still speculative, but no hardcore spoilers tonight, that I can promise you. So thanks, appreciate everybody being here. If you're new to the 999 channel, I'd like to invite you to come back, hit the like button, subscribe, join in. Here's kind of the way our chats work. Everything's streaming along the side. Will not show up, but I will call on several people. I saw someone jumped in with a super chat early. I think it was Scott. I did see that, Scott. Thank you so much. I didn't see your question, so I saw a super chat. If you got a question, add that. And of course, Pete D making the grand introduction. Thank you so much, Pete D. Appreciate you being here, and thanks for your super chat as well. You got to watch Sneaky Pete, though. He'll throw some super chats in there throughout, so moderators, keep an eye on that. If he makes a comment or a question, let me know so we can highlight that as well. So that's a little bit of what we do. Obviously, with super chats, we will focus in on what it is that you want to talk about. My conversation will stop, and then we'll focus on your topic. And if you have a comment that you don't want included, be careful what you type. When this video goes live, make sure you leave comments on that as well, too, because it could be included in future videos. So let's talk about the Junkyard. I think there's more to this Junkyard than meets the eye. Walking Dead typically will take clues, and they just don't throw them out there one time. They rehash it and rehash it and rehash it. So today I was looking at this aerial view of the Junkyard, and I noticed a lot of these rugs covering up areas. Just did not make a whole lot of sense why they're out there, what they're doing. And I thought maybe there's some trap doors, or maybe there's some stuff down there. I know last night we said, what could they be hiding? I've got a whole list of things that we're going to talk about, but I could see Jadis involved in something much, much bigger. I know the speculation out there is, could she become Alpha? Could she be involved in another group? And I do think it's becoming a little bit more real. You guys know about the helipad. You also know about the solar panels. We're going to talk about that as well. So OU Crawfish has a question for a moderator. Wants to know how Tommy got his sweet ass tag. You know, I have no idea. Can Tommy, can you remind us? I know I gave him that name, and I can't remember. It was about 7 or 8 months ago we were doing it. I think it was a stream, or was it the Virginia Beach trip? You know what? I'm going to have to ask the moderators. Like, I know how Emmy got her tag. Emmy Desiree Bacon, because we were coming up with stripper names. So that's where she got her nickname. Steph the Cuervo Queen, obviously, it's self-explanatory. And Tommy, you're going to have to refresh my memory. We gave it to him and just kind of stuck. And, yeah, we just liked it. But thank you for that super chat, and thank you for that question. So, you know, it's not always about me. Sometimes it's about the moderators. So we will, I got to keep a close eye on your questions, but good one. So let's talk about, I just want to get some feelers out there. So first of all, the question came up, where do these people sleep? We see that little tunnel that the scavengers used to walk out. They're not going to be walking out that tunnel anymore. So you assume they're not just sleeping on the couches and the sofas and the trash. You know, maybe they're sleeping in some of those cargo containers that were there. But I think that one little corridor up there might be a main entrance, and then there's a couple more trap doors in there. So they're definitely, they're crafty people. So I'm going to get back in 1 second, because we do, even though this is about some of Jadis' hidden secrets, we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And Justin Petrie says, what do you see happening with Lauren Cohan? I see her coming back. I think Kari Payton said pay the woman, right? So I think they'll come to terms on a contract. If not, I think they will kill her in the most epic way, and that's going to be, she's going to be part of the Whisperer War. I do. I think it's going to be an epic death, or they'll keep her around a little bit longer. And she's popular enough. Pay her. So, Scott Kernan, Scott, I do owe you this question, although I do hate to talk about Walking Dead ratings. But I will. I'll honor your request. So, Scott says, kills my questions in regard to the ratings. Is it truly a bad thing now? I say no. There's a lot of people watching the show. They lose 1 million, they lose a couple million, they lose 37% from one mid-season premiere over the previous year. Shows regress in popularity. I mean, there's a ton of people watching this show. There's a ton of fans. There's a ton of people talking about it. You know, there's a talk show specifically designed to talk about it. It's making a boatload of money. Casey says the momentum will swing back. I don't think it's going to ever swing back to the levels that we're used to. I can't think of a major event that would happen to make The Walking Dead as new and refreshing as it once was. And if you're expecting that, it's just not going to happen. I mean, that would be a good random things topic, right? What are shows that have been around for 4 or 5 seasons that all of a sudden got more popular? So 1189 Paris says the time skip could help reboot the show. Now, are you guys 100% on this, that Breaking Bad was more popular after 5 or 6, you know, after a couple seasons? I don't know how many seasons they had. Yeah, I'm just not 100% on it. I'll have to go back and research some of the numbers. It was just a question that I randomly threw out there. Okay, maybe they do spike in popularity. But I don't think we're at a critical junction in The Walking Dead that you lose people, you lose popular characters, you're going to lose viewers. Maggie, okay, more popular, but even more popular, Vikings is going to be a drop in the bucket compared to The Walking Dead viewership. Okay, maybe Breaking Bad is an exception, but let's take a show like Blacklist. Let's take a show like Blacklist. I don't know what the exact viewers are for Blacklist, But I would imagine it scales down. It loses some people. It's a good show, but it doesn't mean it's ever going to be as popular as The Walking Dead. And if 1 million people watch Vikings and all of a sudden 1.5 million, that's a huge spike. There's 50% more people, but it's still nowhere near. Look, when Walking Dead gets down to like 2 million viewers, then let's talk about it. I would not worry about if people are watching it, if they're watching the playback, if they're involved in forums, they're talking about it. I still think we're in a good spot, and I still think we got plenty of time left and a lot of stuff to talk about. If Walking Dead announced, okay, Game of Thrones is going to be super popular, 2019. If Walking Dead came out and said, Season 9 is going to be the final season, it would probably be the highest watched show of all time. People would tune back in just to see what's going to happen in that last season. But they know it's going to be around for a little while. I mean, it's a good question, but anytime we talk ratings, it's a very kind of touchy conversation. Okay, let's get back into a little bit of the scavengers, the junkyard, some things that could potentially be going on there. If there is a system of tunnels, if there is something they're hiding, why would they have solar panels if they weren't powering up something? And look, maybe somebody can Google this or research this. What powered that meat grinder? I mean, I don't think the meat grinder is powered by gasoline. Anybody think about that? Oh, there we go. Excellent point. Didn't think about that, Kills. I mean, that meat grinder was doing some work. Hey, you know, that's what I do. Not all my ideas and not all my discoveries are from spoiler sites. I've got some original stuff here. Give me a little bit of credit. The meat grinder was not powered by gasoline. That is a high-powered piece of equipment. The other thing is, why do you have a working meat grinder? That's the follow-up question. And she knew it worked. It wasn't, hey, there's this old big piece of junk here. Let me walk a few people over here. This thing has been tested and used. Don, a trap? I don't know. I mean, a trap is a trap. That is a device. That is something that does some serious work. Garbage grinder, car. Well, okay, if it is a, I guess if it's a car, that would make a little bit more sense for the junkyard. Okay, we'll backtrack that one. Okay, it chops automobiles. I'm with you. But it chops people. But it does work. Still, okay, it's not there to chop up meat. How do you power it? Let's get back to question number one. While we're debating that and going back to the junkyard, thank you so much, Valar. Appreciate you being here. And with that super chat. Just want to show a little love for the Army, myself, Emmy, Steph, Kales, and Sweet Tommy. I like that. DDA, it's for recycling scavengers. That's what it's for. But yes, it has to be powered by solar panels or electricity or something. So this network, this operation that these guys have, is a big deal. It can make a lot of applesauce. So here's a follow-up question. I want you guys to really dig into this one. Is it possible that Jadis is not the leader of the scavengers? I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. We assume she's the leader, but we also, some people that didn't read the comics thought that the dude that was on the motorcycle that Daryl shot the rocket launcher at, that he was Negan. And a little bit later on, they thought one of the guys at the sanctuary was Negan. So maybe Jadis is just somebody that they report to. And there is a bigger network of people. Now, she might not have won a war, and she did back down, and they were trying a new way of life. Maybe they already went to war. Maybe they were a step ahead. Maybe they were trying to do what other communities were doing and just live peacefully. So I'm just going to throw out a few things, because it could either be a junkyard or it could have been a military base. It could be something that's hidden. Jadis could have been in charge. She might not be the person that's in charge. The people flying the helicopter could be somewhat related to Jadis. Another follow-up question for the group while you guys are just thinking about this. Why did they change their language? I'm going to give you what I think the answer to the question is. But why do you think that they wanted to simplify just the way that they speak? Zay Johnson says to be different. OU Crawfish says about code. Steve Miller says, I no idea. Codes? Not give away information? James says the language is close to whispering. Fewer words, fewer ways to say the wrong thing. Codes? Sebastian, it's not that they don't get out that much. See, here's the thing that I don't want people to do. Don't mistake them for cavemen. They're not primitive. They're a few years removed from normal life. They didn't just come out of the hills. They chose to make a conscious effort to minimize communication. Very important. Mr. Midnight says about obedience and loyalty. Disguised, hiding. So here's my theory with that, and I think the two go hand in hand. If you're hiding something, where's a good place to hide something where nobody's going to want to go? These are easy questions. Trash, right? Junkyard. Who wants to go dig through the trash? Garbage. All right, you guys are right on point here. if you want, what's the way I want to ask this question? Because I do want to ask a rhetorical question. If you're really smart and you don't want people to know you're really smart, what do you do? And I think these two things go hand in hand. Play dumb. So, with the fact they have a helicopter or a helipad, one would think that there are people that know how to fly helicopters. So, people that can fly helicopters are not dumb. So, this whole dumbing themselves down or making it appear as if they can't communicate and they struggle is a front. There's no doubt it's a front. This potentially could have been a group of scientists, doctors, lawyers, some of the best and some of the brightest that just found we're trying to start a new life and find a new way. Could be a military outpost. Could have been friends and family of the military. I do think there's more to these people that we're never going to know. There's more questions because they're all dead. And Jadis could have been the person responsible for this outpost. Doesn't mean there is more of them. Doesn't mean there's not. But I think the next follow-up question I'm going to have is, if we were to see a flashback or a backstory for Jadis, how did all these people come together? Well, the thing is, Philomena, being a lawyer in a zombie apocalypse isn't going to get you anywhere. You can't sue anybody. Your money means nothing. So people will have to change, and they would have to buy in. So they don't look like the recruiting type. I mean, they don't seem outgoing, like they're out there actively bringing in new people to their community. So there has to be some plot line to that or some story. So, in the comic books, Michonne was a lawyer, right? It's a good question. How does one become a scavenger? So, all these things from their past life, we're never going to get the answer to that question. But it doesn't mean that there's not potential or not future stories that will be uncovered. I'm more interested in the scavengers after this episode with Simon, and the paint and the art and the applesauce and the trash and the compactor slash meat grinder. I'm more interested in them and if they're going to give us a few more hints of what Jadis could potentially do. The fact that she's on the loose and she could be public enemy #1 and she has no allies that we know of and she could hate everybody, to me is a scary thought. Now, there's a couple ways you can look at it. You can say, is she going to go out there and really set up her own new group and be the Whispers, or is she a part of a bigger group? Could they be in training to get this whole whispering thing down and to change their life? I mean, maybe one doesn't just become a whisperer. Maybe one has to be a scavenger for a certain amount of time and take things and before you work into another group. I think there's a lot of subplots that could happen from that. It's a good question, Crawfish. So, super chat from last night. If they were well sourced, why did they need to make a deal with Negan? Steal food. Father G needed guns. I would like to pose that question to the group. I mean, I guess if you're planning for forever, you can never have enough. At some point, you're going to have to even do more. You're going to have to trade. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to hunt. You're going to have to find ways to keep fresh water. You know, food's not going to last forever. They could have a military stockpile under there. I don't know. But I do just feel like these groups don't randomly just happen. Oceanside makes sense to me because Oceanside was a group of families. They lived by the ocean. It was male and female. All the men died. The women are left there. I mean, you don't need a backstory for that. But this group, this group would be equivalent to the Saviors. So, Alexandria, we know how Alexandria came together. The Hilltop. But this is a pretty unique group. And the only reason why I think they're more unique is the fact that they're not like any other group. I guess that sums up the word unique. But what I mean by that is the kingdom. The kingdom, they grow, they talk normal, they try to live. The Hilltop, they grow, they talk normal, they live. The Saviors, they produce, they take, they protect, they live. These guys don't. They're rogues. They steal, but it's the communication that really has me interested, and it's the fact that they have some technology there that shows that they're capable of doing more, but they chose not to. So, why would you make that decision if it's not important? Well, look, let me say this. Is Rick making pottery? Is Ezekiel writing music? Does Negan have a group of people getting up on stage, performing in front of everybody else? No. So, what the scavengers in essence have done is they reset their language. And if you go back through history, what is one thing that you need to build a civilization? What is some of the oldest, most important things in any civilization? Culture. And the scavengers and their focus on art, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that they were just trying to start over. They're starting over with their communication. They're starting over focusing on culture. It is very primitive. But they choose to be primitive. They didn't just become primitive. So, when people talk about the paintings and the art and the sculptures, I think it definitely is an important piece to what they were doing. And it keeps them occupied. I mean, they had tasks, but their communication was very good. I mean, Jadis could hold up a hand, and everybody was on board with that. What's really, really ironic about that is in one of the streams we talked about, I guess a few weeks ago, we said, when is the group going to get out there, the Alexander group, and start looking for a cure? When are they going to become organized? The most organized that I've seen Rick's group is when the start of season 8, when they all got together and had a meeting and they came up with a plan. They were organized then. Jadis' group, they just don't learn this hands up means something. This is a group that has practiced that. So, is it just something the writers threw in there to make us accept it? I guess you could say that, but I don't buy into it. I think everything that they do, their coordination, is something that is important, is something that they've discussed, is something they practice. So these people have time to take things. They have time to practice their military technique, their organization. They have time to focus on their culture, and they have a source of power. And they've had time to not only their nonverbal communication, but their verbal communication. Very, very intriguing. So, this was a couple people last night that really focused on this and wanted to talk about it. Good question. Northside Queen says, what is Jadis' obsession with cats? 9 lives. Maybe, but I think that's a little bit more superstition. I think if you go back to, I don't want to get too far into history, but cats have always had a pretty important place in society. Way back in Egyptian times. So maybe that's it. Just the fascination of going back to and rebuilding something like that. Could these piles of heaps be their pyramids? Not right now because they're not really organized, but who knows what they were planning? And who knows how much they wanted to grow this? We'll never get the chance to know unless there's more of them. I don't think, though, everything they did here I think is pretty much gone. I think you'll either see another group interact with Jadis, or Jadis will just leave this area altogether. Well, Lonnie says cats always land on their feet, so maybe Jadis will land on her feet. Joka says they're partners with the New World Order. Well, I guess if you're in Jadis' perspective, it would have been nice if she did have allies, if they would have came to her rescue. We're going to be talking about her. There's a reason why she's alive. Arena Hunter, I don't know that the blue paint is as big of a deal as the fact that it's blue and it's on Simon's shoes. I didn't really read anything into the color and the symbolic nature of the color, except for the blue cat in the background. But I did think it was something that there's proof. Dwight had some proofs that Eugene spotted, so Simon got a little mud, he got a little paint on the shoes, and he's going to be busted for it. What's up, Jeff? So this kind of has turned into a hidden clues chat, because I think there's just a lot of things that we can dig into. I'll tell you what, tomorrow night we're going to talk about a few other things. I know there's the Negan letter that's out there. We will zoom in tomorrow night and we will break down that letter. We've got some screenshots that are out there that are floating around. You can't really make out the whole thing, but that is going to be a pretty deep conversation topic tomorrow. So all week long, we're going to have some pretty cool Walking Dead topics. I love open chat like this because it does give us a chance to sort of dig down. As we said, none of this is confirmed. There's no spoilers. These are just straight what-if, hypothetical. But I think most of us will agree that there's a reason why Jadis is still alive and that Simon didn't kill her. And having a person with revenge on their mind alive is not a good thing to have floating around in the background, because she could come after Rick, she could come after Negan, she could come after Simon, and she could completely rebuild after a time skip. Give her a couple years and who knows what she's liable to put together, and if there's some future partners out there. All right, everybody, we're going to wind this thing down. We went over 30 minutes. I know you guys want these to go a little bit longer, but as I said, I want to keep the topics fresh so we can move on to the next thing. Appreciate all of you guys being here. Never thought we'd talk about Jadis and the Scavengers quite so much, especially when all of them are dead, but stay tuned. There's going to be a little bit more to that. If you're watching the playback to this video, this is the closing credits. If you're still here, give me a quick 999. I want to do as many shout-outs as we possibly can. I also want to say thank you to the Patreons, also the people who are super chatting here. Thank you so much. 150, 200 people. Everybody here, drag that mouse over, Lucille that like button, meat grind the like button, iron the like button, whatever you do, whoever your favorite character is. If you love being part of the 999 Army, if you like being in these streams, give us some likes. Like this thing up so we can show everybody the full force of the 999 Army. Thanks, everybody. I want to say what's up to Mr. Beat 1614. A couple people changed their name. Don't think I didn't notice. Sup Geek Zero, OU Crawfish, Mike Artis, Dave Darnell, Tiffany Irvin, thank you, DDA Ohio, Pat Sanzone. Also, those of you that are here, you can see right above the 999 Gaming logo, the Walking Dead 999 Army. You guys get over there and join our Facebook page, even if you're not big in social media, but we will post some of the streams, some of the times, some of the things that we do, and also some polls, some surveys, and some contests. We just want to strengthen that a little bit more as well, too. So hopefully you guys will join these streams and also join over there as well. All right, back to some of the shout-outs. I want to say what's up to Scott Kiernan, also all my moderators, Kel, Bree, Stephanie, Emmy, and Tommy. Got to remember them. I need an acronym to remember all of them. Stephen Wolf, thanks for being here. Jake Turgeon, Arrogance, thank you for being here. Zay Johnson, Northside Queen, thank you so much. Dan's Reviews, Valar, appreciate you being here. Football Stuff Worldwide, the Hippo is here. Thank you, Hippo. Tobin McLeod, Sebastian Carpio, appreciate you being here. eBeach72, Maggie Bonacorda. Hunter Christensen, thanks for being here. Eric Vance, have a good night. Gina Crockett. The Gaming Squad, HD. Crawfish, I got to, I'm going to have to touch base with Steph and see when we're going to do our next t-shirt promotion. Blue paint that like button. There you go. We got all kind of stuff out here. It's Jess. Thanks for being here. Jeff Morrow. Petey Weedy. We will do the Petey Bomb tomorrow. How about that? Shanny D, a.k.a. Little Michonne. Thank you for being here. Jay Ski. Nicholas Hodges. Nikki S. Thanks for being here tonight. Tammy Sifford, no pickles. This is a Eugene free zone. You know what? We'll like Eugene again. Meat Grinder 3851. Formerly Storm 3851. The Rad Chicken Wing, thanks for being here. Eric C., thank you as well. Thanks for being here, Metal Mike. Got a few more shout-outs to do. Michael Batts, thanks for being here. Will Saint, Chris Gamble, Melinda Kettler, thank you. Joko Wiley, appreciate you being here. Dan, I have not seen Z Nation, but I will add it. Joni Tucker, thanks for being here tonight. Brene Harp. Zelda Faz, thank you for being here. All right, everybody, it has been Shout Out City. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If I missed you in a shout out once the video goes live, leave some comments. Actually, and if I missed your question tonight, leave the question over there. If you have a really good Jadis scavenger theory, leave it in there too. We just want a lot of comments because it creates good dialogue. Stay tuned tomorrow once you guys hear fully focused to talk Negan and to talk about that letter. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9:30. Peace.